up, y'all? I am back with another hydroponic build. This one is pretty unnecessary for my purposes, but it's something I've been thinking about doing, and I've been looking at a lot of videos on NFT systems, and I decided I kind of wanted to do my take on NFT system. But let me go ahead and give you an overview of this thing, and I'll tell you about why and how I did everything, and why I think it's kind of neat. But anyway, here we go. Let's take a look at this. This is my little modular, versatile NFT system here, DIY obviously, but it's slightly different than most NFTs you see on the internet. It's actual NFT because it's not pulling water at the bottom. It's basically just water running down the rails. In case those of you aren't familiar with NFT, it's nutrient film technique, and it means basically plants' roots lay in kind of a thin film of water, nutrient water that's running through, and they get all their nutrients there, and it's really great way to keep the roots oxygenated and get all the nutrients they need, and it promotes really fast, solid growth. Those are the upsides. The upsides of NFT are obviously fast growth. The systems are really expandable, so if I wanted to make 20 more rails of this, I could just scoot out 20 more rails, make the manifold longer, and the return is longer, and I could add a lot more. So it's really expandable, scalable, I guess is the word people always use, system, and it's really simple. You know, if your pump goes out, that's one of the bad sides about it. So there's a few bad things about NFT, and one is if your pump goes out, you run out of nutrient water fast, and your plants die quick. That's the main downside of this system. The other main downside of the system is it's not really designed for plants that go a long time and develop huge roots. If you get too big of roots, it'll clog up your lines here. So this is not ideal for the plants that I normally grow on my channel. But since I'm taking a little cycle on summer off here, so I had time to screw around on my veg tin. I got some snow peas leaving. I got a jalapeno plant over there going, and got to be able to do some upgrades to my veg tin here. But this is like I said, it's kind of neat. I had a whole side of my veg tin over here that was unused, so I decided to build this NFT system and start growing some lettuce, strawberries, things like that. Or what this is ideal for is like basically leafy green vegetables, things with small roots, quick grow times, and it's just a neat concept. But either way, this is my build of that. I did 4 rails here. I'm going to use 2-inch net cups, and what's different, mine's for a DIY build. I think it's nice and versatile, because I can take these off, interchange them to different size, spacing, things like that. But yeah, that's it. Here's how they go. Oops, I got it connected up there, so I disconnected that. Yeah, so here's the rail it comes right out. It's basically just laying on top of the drainage manifold, and it's easy to take on, take off, and it's easy to clean. The major considerations that I had when I was building this is a few major considerations that I wanted to make my build kind of real focused towards. One, I wanted to be really easy to clean, so that's why I basically have these removable lids, so I can take them all off and just clean real easy in there. 2, obviously I wanted it to be modular. I like the idea of being able to change parts in and out. So take this rail off, put it in a different rail that does different things, put in this rail for like, a nursery / microgreens, whatever. So I like the idea of having something versatile and modular where I can just change things out, change it up. I can take off the lids and put, so this is like an 8 inches between each hole. I can take off this and put in one for bigger plants like spinach or kale or whatever, with just a couple of net pots per section here. But anyway, so easy to clean, versatile, modular, and that's about it. Just neat. My builds are never the cheapest, but I always like to make them kind of neat, and I like interchangeable parts. You can see the rest of the different parts. My veg tent are just laying out here. I got different attachments that go with different things in here from different builds, obviously. But for this one, I'm gonna probably build some different or put on some different parts here as far as the tops go. But at this point, this is all built so far, and I'm gonna go ahead and get this video started and show you guys how I did everything, why I did everything, and with a couple of extra pointers on what what I did to make sure that I don't have any problems and I can, you know, change around the way I like it. Either way, let me get started with the video here. What's up, y'all? I'm back, and I've got great news. I've been waiting on my materials to come in to start building my NFT system, and they finally got here today. I've got my 4-inch vinyl fence posts and my 5-inch vinyl fence posts. I ordered way too much of this. I'm only making like a 4-rail system, and I ordered 3 9-foot 4-inch fence post vinyl sleeves and 3 7-foot 5-inch fence post vinyl sleeves, and I probably won't even use. I'll use half of it. Basically, right about half of it is what I'm going to end up using. So I ordered way too much. But either way, the point is, this video is going to be showing how I'm going to build this NFT rail system. I still haven't figured out the drainage all the way yet. I'm going to see how tough it is to slice through some PVC fittings. But either way, let me go ahead and get this stuff unboxed and start putting things together. Okay, so here's my veg tent, and this is where I'm planning on. This is the side that I have open here. This is where I'm planning on putting this rail system. I'm basically just gonna have 4 rails, bloop, laying on the side of this table here, hanging in here, and basically draining into the end of the table over there. So I'm gonna remove this fan, obviously, and probably just put up a pole fan over here. And like I said, I'm gonna have basically 4 rail system just laying here, and all draining into a manifold, drainage manifold here on the end through bulkheads, and then just having the manifold run down to the drain on the other end of this table. The table's slanted this way slightly. So that's what I'm planning on doing. I'm gonna have the water coming to the NFT system from a pipe. This, wow. There's a little pipe down there. You see the valve. I have to put in a pipe from that valve down here up to the top of the NFT system. Just gonna have 4 different lines going to the different rails, and then the water runs down the rails into the drainage manifold and then out to the end of the table. So that's how it's gonna work. 4 feet is basically how long these rails are gonna be. So like I said, 4 4-foot rails isn't using up barely any of that pipe I have outside, or fence post, whatever you want to call it. So I'll have plenty left over. I ordered way too much, but yeah. So that's what we got to do, is go cut those down to 4-foot pieces, and then I'll start working on putting on the end caps and doing some other cutting I'm going to do. But it'll be slightly different than most rail systems, but same concept. So I'll be back in a second when I'm getting those cut up. Okay, so here's these vinyl fence post sleeves. For some reason I thought they were more like PVC, but there's, I don't know, maybe it's PVC, maybe it's not. It's got a gray look to it, just a white coating on the outside, but the inside of the thing looks gray. So here's the 4-inch, and there's a 5-inch one over there standing up. I'm gonna make all these rails are gonna be 4 foot long, so I'm gonna cut 3 4-foot pieces of the 4-inch and 1 4-foot piece of the 5-inch, and I'll just start making the rails, and later I'll end up trying to figure out how everything is going to get into the drainage manifold and work on the drainage manifold after all the rails are built. So rails first, and don't worry about the drainage manifolds last. But yeah, so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use a hand saw because I don't have a miter saw. I don't know how I don't have a miter saw, but I don't know what happened to my old miter saw either. I guess I haven't used a miter saw since I left or moved my last house. But either way, don't have a miter saw, so I'm using this stupid hand saw here. And I'll chop this thing up, and be back in a second when I get them all chopped into their 4-foot long pieces. All right, there's my first 4-foot long rail. This is a 4-inch rail. Actually took longer than I was planning on it taking to cut it, but I got it pretty straight for the hand straw there. Pretty flat and level. Either way, got to cut up 3 more of these, and then I'm gonna clean them all off, obviously with my probably my deburring tool and then some sandpaper, but clean them all off and then start working on how I'm actually gonna build the rails. So back in a second when I got all these cut up, and I'm gonna start explaining how I'm gonna make my rails. Get it started?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yes.
Okay. I'm back. I've decided that using a handsaw to cut all these is a bad idea. Or not a bad idea. Probably a smart idea. Smarter than this. But this is gonna be hopefully quicker, but we'll see. I might end up shattering some pipe here. And I don't have a table saw. I don't have a miter saw, so I don't know how that happened, but I used to have both. I don't know where they went. But either way, I'm gonna go ahead and use this thing and see if it cuts a nice straight line across this pipe. There we go. Pretty good. Now I gotta flip it over and see if I can continue making a straight line. So this is actually way better than using a handsaw, turns out. All right, go again here. Now it's gonna get a little flimsy after I do this side. For sure, get a little flimsy. Working out a lot better than I thought it was going to. Yeah, it's almost straight. Alright, last piece of the circle. There we go. That was actually a lot faster than cutting it with a handsaw, and it turned out pretty clean. I just have to clean it up with a little sandpaper and the deburring tool. And being lazy worked this time. Alright, babe. Stop it, we'll start. I'm done cutting these up with a skill saw, and they're reasonably even. They're all 4 foot long about. Doesn't really matter too much if they're exactly identical because they're kind of just laying there on the table anyway. But now this is the part of the build where I start diverging from a normal NFT system, and I'm going to go ahead and cut this, start cutting these pipes again, but I'm just going to use the skill saw again. I'm going to cut basically I'm going to cut the top chunk out of this pipe, so I'm going to cut it out this section here, and then I'm going to leave like a little, kind of little middle part, and I'm going to cut out this section here. And either way, you'll see in a second what I'm doing, but the whole point is to have an open top of the channel here, and I'm basically going to put another piece on top that's interchangeable that I'll be able to take on, take off when I'm cleaning and doing other things. So that's my plan. I just need to measure some stuff and see what fits where, how. Pushing you over. You got this?
No, something's definitely pushing.
Anyway, all right, we're back, and I'm gonna, let's see. So here's what I did. I took that skill saw, and for the 4-inch rails, I cut a little groove here. And I'm planning on, I'm gonna have to use my jigsaw to cut the rest of this, but I cut the little groove here, here. So I'm gonna cut out this whole panel with my jigsaw, boom, from there to there. So this whole panel is gonna be missing now. And same thing on the other side. I'm gonna leave a little piece in the middle and then cut out the whole panel that side. So it's gonna be basically 2 open areas of the channel. And I'm gonna do that on all the 4-inch pipes. And on the 5-inch pipe, I put a little deeper slit. I'm basically gonna cut this down all the way down to basically the height of a net cup, or the little 2-inch net pots I'm gonna use. I haven't measured them yet, but I'm gonna cut them all the way down to about here. And I'm gonna cut the whole, yeah, I'll cut the whole thing out. So I'm gonna cut this whole big chunk of pipe the top part of this out and just leave the ends on. And I'm not gonna do any of that on camera with the jigsaw, but I'm gonna go ahead and, like I said, I'm gonna use my jigsaw, go down all the way across, keep it at the height of the net cups. I'm planning on like laying net cups on this, kind of like a starter rail here. But I'll be back when I got all these things chunked up and cut out the little patches of each. So I'm not gonna do it tonight though. But either way, I'll be back when I got all these kind of cut into their final pieces. Okay, just got done using the jigsaw to chop out all these channels. So like I said, the 3 4-inch channels, I cut out basically a couple of stretches of them and left a piece in the middle. And the 5-inch channel, I cut out the whole thing and I made it a lot lower. So it's a lot lower down the bottom there for basically seedlings and microgreen type situation we're going to try and do in there. But yeah, so these are chopped out. I need to clean them up. The jigsaw is just such a imprecise tool to just run down the length of a board. It's pretty chunky and pretty rough looking over here, but that's all right. I need to just go over with my deburring tool and then my some sandpaper, and I can continue building here and get this done as soon as I can here. Back in a second. Yeah, I just got done putting on the first side of end caps here, or fence post caps, what do you want to call them. And I used PVC glue. This is actually just one-step PVC glue, but same premise, kind of melts the stuff and then kind of melts it together. But I just used PVC glue there, and I'm fairly certain that this stuff is not gonna hold water well. So I'm almost guaranteed these are gonna leak at this point. So probably going to come back in here. Well, I'm gonna put the caps on both sides and I'm gonna test them out and see if they leak. But when they do leak, which they will, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna go around definitely the bottom half at least of these, the bottom half of the channel at least, with some, well, this is JB plastic weld. This works well. I'm either gonna use this or JB water weld. Whatever, this is what I have at home right now, so probably gonna use that. I don't think I have, if I have enough to get done with all of it with just that, I'll probably just use that, or I may go to the store and get some water weld type stuff. But yeah, that's what or marine weld, whatever they want to call it. But yeah, I'm probably gonna end up using that stuff because, like I said, there's almost no chance these things aren't going to leak the way they are, because like I said, these caps don't fit on here as snug as regular PVC does. They're a little loose in the little corners here. I mean, I don't know, it's got a good seal along this side here, but in the corners, I'm pretty sure it's going to leak water over here. On each corner, there's little gaps. So anyway, I'll be back once I get the other half of these end pieces glued on there, and then we'll see how they leak or don't leak. Okay, I just got done with my you can see in there that slippery looking wet stuff. That is the JB plastic weld. I basically went around each of these end caps on the bottom half, up the side and then down around the bottom and up. Basically did all the end caps where hopefully there will be no leakage. There shouldn't be, because this JB plastic weld is basically like fusing 2 pieces of plastic with more plastic. That's all it is. So it basically, this is all one solid piece now. It's not coming apart, so I'm pretty sure it won't be leaking. But either way, now that I'm done with that, I'm gonna put on some little foam kind of bumpers. These are just some vinyl rubber weather seal type stuff. I'm gonna put it along the edge here. God, it's so chunky. If I do this, this is basically pretty crude attempt here at building these rails, but it's kind of like a test run of how this system will work. But using the jigsaw is terrible. I need some better tools. Jigsaws are just it's very chunky. Let's put it that way. If I had like a table saw and a miter saw, everything would look a lot cleaner. But jigsaw and skill saw looks a little rough, especially on the top edge there. But anyway, whatever. Point is, I'm going to put this weather strip right along here all the way across. And the whole point is just to keep the light out. So I'm going to go back and make a video for the first of this, just to say what my whole goals are with this thing. But a big one is, with this design, is to keep the light out while making it versatile, modular, and, you know, easy clean. But yeah, one of the biggest things that I'm trying to focus on here when I'm making this NFT system is keeping the light out, because light will, you know, put algae, make things dirtier, and take away from the nutrients, and all kinds of bad things happen with algae. But yeah, so this weather stripping will go basically 100% almost, basically to keep light out, and also it'll keep the top caps basically on each section a little more firm, because I'm going to use 5-inch PVC, the 5-inch rails to put like caps where I'm going to put my plant sites, basically interchangeable caps with the 5-inch PVC rail. And I'm going to do that next, so you'll see what the heck I'm talking about. But it's going to be one of the 5-inch caps on each side of one of these 4-inch rails, and the whole point of that is so like basically so I can take it off and put it in something with different holes, smaller spacing for, you know, smaller plants or bigger plants, maybe just 2 there. Point is, I want something that's interchangeable, modular, like, you know, different attachments. And just when it comes to building things, I like to build things where they're kind of just has attachments and modular and neat and easy clean and easy to maintain and things like that. So let me go out. I'm gonna put this on there, and then I'm gonna go ahead and start chopping up 5-inch, some more 5-inch tubing to put on the caps here. Okay, so here's my first top cap type piece. This is from that 5-inch rail that I built for the kind of seedling / microgreens rail. But this is the top piece of that. So here it is right here. It's a little bit longer than the rest of them are going to be, because it's more than half the width of that. But it doesn't matter how far it hangs down, as long as it hangs down over the little weather stripping there. And it fits nice and perfectly snug, actually. So it actually fit really nice and snug like I wanted it to. And you can see this is how basically the final product is going to be. Half of it's going to be this cap, and I'll cut another cap. It's going to fit here. And they're all 23 inches, basically how long the caps are, because they're basically 46 inches between this end and this end. So they fit right on there, snug and good, blocking out all the light, hopefully, with this weather strip here. And let's see if I can get it off there with one hand, really. Okay, there we go. So it basically comes right off there. The only concern I'm really worried about is this weather stripping when I pull these things on and off there constantly. See how long the weather stripping lasts, but I think it's going to be fine. But either way, so that's how it's going to work with a modular system. And I'm going to make a bunch of these caps. And then, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and drill the ones right now for lettuce. So I think I'm going to put 3 holes in each of these end caps here. So it'll be like a hole here, a hole here, and a hole here, somewhere between 6 and 8 inches apart. So if I put it here, either way, that'll be somewhere around 6 to 8 inches apart, and they'll be evenly spaced for lettuce or whatever. If I have 2 of the same kind here, like I said, 6 per rail, 6 per 4 foot, or that should work fine. Either way, the point is I'm going to build different caps of these over time. I mean, I've got plenty of that. I bought way too much of this pipe for what I'm doing here. So I've got plenty of this pipe to play around with and figure out what plants need what kind of space to grow. So I think like things like Swiss chard and spinach might need maybe 2 per cap. And things like lettuce, strawberries, things like that, I can probably grow like 3 per cap. But either way, that's how this thing's going to work. I know I've gone this whole video without actually explaining what's going on here, but yeah. Now I'm getting close to the end here, and oops, I'm getting close to the end here, and once I get all these caps built and holes drilled in them, then I'll be able to start. I'll drill the bulkhead hole on this side. I'll put in the water entry in this side, and get this thing wrapped up. One of the trickiest things for this build is going to be the drainage manifold because I don't have a lot of space in my flood table in there in my grow tent. So it's gonna be something with a 2-inch PVC pipe is gonna be the tricky part, and it's gonna be some kind of weird rigged 2-inch PVC pipe, but we'll see that when I get to it. Well, I'll be back in a second when I'm done with this and when I've got the bulkheads put in. Okay, there's one full rail with 2 caps on it. They got a little wiggle room. I might have made them a little shorter than 23 inches. The point is, those ones are nice and easy. They're on there snug with the weather stripping. Should be blocking out all the light, and they fit really well. I did this with my skill saw, so everything on this whole build is a little bit jankier and rougher than I like, but it's definitely gonna get the job done here. Like I said, that's basically how the final product's gonna look, minus the holes drilled in the tops here. So, like I said, I'm gonna go finish my bulkheads and my cutting a bunch more of these caps, put the net cap holes in the tops, and then, like I said, drill the hole for the water coming in, drill the bulkheads for the water going out, and then I'll be ready, once I'm done with all that, to go build my manifold for my for the drainage, and we'll see how that goes. Okay, so here's all 4 of these rails basically completed. I put the caps on, or the top caps, what do you want to call them? I need to clean these off a little bit. I just got done cutting these holes for the net pots. I went ahead and tried to make it where each of these caps with the 8-inch-ish center hole to center hole measuring are pretty much identical. So it's a little bit tighter than 8 inches right here on this middle one. And then obviously I didn't need to make it this far off the end, but I did it just so I could interchange them and have them be even. But either way, so this is what they look like when they're done. That is one complete rail here with the caps on it. This one has 6 spots. I left this one empty. I'm just gonna probably leave it covered for now. What I'm probably gonna do with this one is do maybe 2 holes per end cap for growing something like Swiss chard or spinach, but for now it's just going to stay closed. And first thing I'm going to grow on this thing is just going to be lettuce. So where's my net? There's a net cup. So here's the net cups I'm going to use. These are 2-inch net cups, which will fit most little rock wool type size stuff, or what are those other ones called? Either way, rock wool. But I use a rapid rooter usually to start seeds, but I'll probably be using rapid rooters. They'll fit in here fine. The reason I bought these net cups, I have other 2-inch net cups, but the reason I bought these is because they fit. They have a little collar that goes around the top that just basically blocks the light out, and that was one of my major concerns here on this system, is to keep the the light blocked out of the whole rail here, just to keep everything clean inside, no algae, and I think things will work out better that way. But anyway, that's done. Now let's see if, like I said before, drill the bulkheads at the end of these and put in the water input lines. What this is this is a 1/4-inch PVC, expanded PVC foam piece here. What I'm going to use this for is on this is basically for the here's the 5-inch rail I made. This is basically a nursery rail kind of deal. So I'm going to put tinfoil here to block the light out of the end here. So I'll probably tape some tinfoil over this area here. I'm going to use this. I have a bunch of these sheets. I've got a ton of them. But the point is I'm going to put these along here and put net pot holes in here. Ding, 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 ding. Basically where the net pots are laying down in the water. So the net pots are going to be, the bottom is going to be basically sitting on the bottom there and in the water. And let me see actually how tall this is. Yeah, so that'll work just right. So that was kind of my goal with this rail, was to have it basically the net pot kind of going through this piece here and having the bottom of it sitting in the bottom of the tray. And that's for basically new seedlings to kind of get their roots cranking before they can hang down there and reach the bottom. So like I said, there'll be a bunch of pieces of this expanded PVC. However many seeds I need, probably I'll go stagger these back and forth down the piece there. Maybe 4 of them per panel, something like that. The point is, I can get maybe 4-ish panels across here. So I'll be able to start a bunch of seeds in one tray. And then when I'm not starting seeds in this tray, I'll also be able to use it for probably microgreens. I'm thinking about using microgreens. Jute mats, I can cut them the size of this tray and start a bunch of sprouts and kind of throw them in there and see how that works. But that's something I'll try later with this rail. But anyway, that's what I got going on right now, and I'm about done here. So let me go and finish my, what am I going to do now? What will I do now? I'm going to go start drilling bulkheads for the ends here. And then my lights aren't on my grow room right now, so I can't really go into my veg tent and figure out the measurements for the drainage manifold, but as soon as the lights come back on, I'll be doing that. Okay, I am back. If you're wondering what this is, the answer is a very janky drainage manifold. So, just making it where the trick was just to make this where it's kind of a blank slate here to drill holes in and put each rail on top of to drain. And the best way I could do it is just to have one piece and not some fittings in the middle or whatever. Is just kind of S this across the top and then back and down the drainage piece over here. So, like I said, I got this little turned here, and this is also going to let me adjust the height to where I want it. So these NFT rails that are laying on top of this are coming down at the proper angle for good basically drainage. So basically I'm going to prop it up at that angle right there. I'm going to have to find something to put this pipe on top of. I'll have to figure that out later. But for now, that's pretty much exactly how it's going to be right there. And I need to go get the pieces for this, drill the holes for where these rails are going to be, and that's going to be a wrap on this piece. But let me go ahead and get that done. I'm going to go ahead and put in the... I can do that fine. It's not a problem. I'll do that now, and then I'll come back and start working on the return water that's going to come up to the top of the rails to feed them. Either way, back in a second when I'm farther along. Hey, I realized to measure properly for that drainage manifold, I needed to go ahead and put in the bulkheads in the rails. So I put the bulkheads in all these rails, and then while I was doing that, I went ahead and put in the return line kind of fittings here. So I just use RODI. I'm going to use RODI tubing obviously for the return lines to each rail, and I put a little splitter in there because honestly I just don't use them for anything else. So I've put it in here basically to hold this piece on tight. So a splitter in each of these and an elbow on each of these, and basically when I put them on or off the system, I'll just lay them down, plug them in, stick this part, lay it on top of the drainage manifold, and it's in there. So easy and quick and modular. So I'll be back when I'm getting done with the fitting the manifold and figuring that out, the drainage manifold. Okay, so here's basically what this is going to look like when it's done as far as drainage manifold goes. These are going to be laying across like this. The bulkheads are going to be moved over slightly because they're going to be going in the tube. Hopefully that's big enough. Either way, bulkheads are going to be going in the tube. The tube is going to be propped up probably about that height right there, laying on top of a 2-inch PVC pipe is about right. It's got a little bit of slope. Let me actually check the slope that way. Hopefully it's got a little bit of slope. Well, that is dead even, so I'm going to have to prop it up a little bit higher on this side. So it'll run that way, then run back this way. I think this table is a little bit... Actually, that's dead on even, but... So I'll have to prop up this side a little bit just so the water will run out that way out the... Actually, it might just be fine being level, to be honest with you. Because it'll fill up and go that way, just naturally. So I'll leave it like that. Level on the manifold. It'll fill up, go that way, just because that's how water works. And go out that way, come this way. All 4 poles will be laying across the top here, all 4 rails that is. So this is just how I'm doing my manifold, just because it's a little janky and I'm gonna have to run the return line through the middle here, so I couldn't have this pole laying across the middle on the bottom there. So that's why I'm doing this. Obviously the drainage manifold is pretty much a custom setup no matter how you're going to do your build, and for my build this is what I kind of need to do. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll come back in here as soon as I got the holes drilled and the drainage manifold hooked up over here, and we'll see where we're at. Okay, there are the drainage holes cut in the PVC. Those should work just fine for these rails to fit in well, and also hopefully to minimize the light getting into the drainage tube there. So that's done. Pro tip when it comes to making your holes in the PVC is that you don't have to deburr them, but if you do deburr them, try not to gank yourself, because deburring PVC, well, I guess in general, the more rigid a material you're trying to deburr, the more dangerous it gets. So if you're using soft plastic, not so dangerous, but once you start messing with this real rigid, hard stuff, you have to put a little more effort into it, and it's a lot easier for your deburring tool to slip, and you can really gank yourself. So metal, PVC, hard, rigid things, just be a little more cognizant of where you're pulling your energy to with your deburring tool. Plastic, like I said, not so bad, cuts like butter, but hard stuff, hard plastic, hard metal, whatever, gotta be a little more careful. I'll be back in a second when I got this all hooked up, and then I'll start working on the return manifold, or the feeding lines, what do you want to call them, and I'll be done with this sucker. I figured I'd throw this in there because this is like the most useful piece, PVC type piece, that I've found when it comes to building DIY hydroponic stuff. And this is a little plastic piece that goes from 1/2-inch male threaded PVC pipe to RODI tubing. Basically it's a Chinese pack of 5. I keep running out of them, but the point is, for my return lines, when I want to bring the nutrient water out to something, this is the best way to get it there, is RODI tubing. And I like to get it out there with PVC and then split it with RODI tubing. But yeah, it just put some, I just put some, this is some old ones I actually used already, but just put some thread tape on the male part of the threaded PVC. It just has a rubber gasket inside, so it fits really snug, and I haven't had any leaks with these yet. And you just screw it in as tight as you can, you're done. And then basically you can run RODI tubing wherever you want from there, and it's really convenient. But either way, just thought I'd throw that in there. Let me go finish the water supply manifold here. Okay, I'm getting pretty close to finished here. I got the drainage manifolds obviously done. Now I'm working on the return manifold here. I ran out here, oops, between these, obviously between the rails. Let me get over there. So I made it purposely a little short because I want the weight of this little kind of manifold out here to rest on the edge here rather than somewhere else. So it's gonna have to be, I couldn't find, for some reason there's no 45-degree, 1/2-inch 45-degree angle pipes. So maybe that's always been like that. I went to a couple different Home Depots, I couldn't find any. So I'm using 90-degree bends here, so it's gonna, might hurt my flow a little bit out here at the end, but either way, gonna have a pipe coming out here, prop it up on there, out to the end with a T, one end here, one end here, and then they're going to be coming up and teeing off, or like I said, coming up here. This is where I'm going to put the that little PVC to RODI adapters, one there, and I'm going to tee it off with RODI tubing, RODI piece, RODI tee between the two, and I'm going to try and put a valve on each of these, ideally, so I can shut off flow to any one rail I want. But either way, it's about done. Let me go ahead and do all those things I said I was about to do, and we'll see how it works when I turn it on here in a second. It's pretty stupid how many times that I've had to stop for the night because I've run out of 1/2-inch PVC. It's amazing how many times I've run out of 1/2-inch PVC. But tonight, I literally combed my whole house to find an extra little piece. What I ended up doing is I'm gonna have to cannibalize this piece right here. All I need is like 6 inches. So I'm gonna have to cannibalize this little 5 or 6 inches of this piece right here so I can finish tonight instead of having to wait until I wake up in the morning at Home Depot again. I usually work around, or usually build stuff around like 9 p.m. to like midnight. And by the time I realize I don't have stuff, it's usually about 11. So I'm not stopping tonight. I'm just gonna go ahead and, like I said, cannibalize some old piece, and if I need it again, I'll have to just put it back together with some unions or something. But either way, note to self, definitely make sure you have enough 1/2-inch PVC before the store closes. Okay, now I'm done with everything except for the RDI tubing. So I've already got the PVC to the RII, everything's glued in, ready to go. This stuff with a little chance to set for the PVC glue before I turn on the water, but I need to go ahead and finish up these, splitting it off with my RDI tubes and put a couple of valves in there so I can shut off the flow to any one channel I want, and I'll be freaking done. Okay, this thing is about done here. I did all the return manifold now. You can see it runs up here, tees off. It actually worked out quite nicely with the spacing and everything. So it goes underneath the rail, comes up. Here's where I have the PVC to RDI tubing teed off. 2 valves so I can turn off any one rail I really want to. And then it comes in the top of the rail, like I showed before, where it just splits there in the rail and kind of drains. So either way, this is all built, and it's all the valves are turned open right now. I think everything's pretty much on tight and secured, but I'm going to go ahead and turn the water flow on now. I might have to adjust my pump because right now I got my pump on pretty low. It's just feeding 2 plants, but I might have to adjust my pump here. But let me go ahead and start. Where up on my pliers? There they are. Okay, so I grabbed these pliers because the way this fits with this my other system here, this valve wasn't exactly super accessible. So let me see, which way does that turn anyway? It turns clockwise, I guess. So counterclockwise opens it, so I'll have to go counterclockwise. Let's see what happens here. If I can grab it, I might need to get a different pair of pliers. Counterclockwise, does that work? Which way is open? Yep, counterclockwise. Okay, we're good. So there we go. Now the system is open. Let's go see what's happening here. Whoa! There it goes, and I've got a leak. Oh, right away. So let me go ahead and start over here. Okay, let's try this again. This is where it leaked. It was questionable how short the piece of RDI tubing I had between there was. Apparently it was too short, so it was allowing the water to leak instead of being jammed in there all the way. I think when you put it in all the way RDI tubing to the fittings, it kind of seals off the ends, but it was too short, so obviously water was escaping through there and spraying everywhere. But either way, let's go try this again and check if we get some leaks this time. Let me go ahead and straighten everything back up here. All right, and actually that flow was definitely enough. Let's go get over to the other side, get my pliers, and try this again. What did I say? Counterclockwise to turn it on, and clockwise to turn it off. I think that's what happened. So let's go ahead and counterclockwise this sucker. Keep an eye up there. Okay, I can see it right now, and it's working fine. Thank God. All right, so that's on full blast. And here is our system running. We've got a nice little, oops, stepped on the wood down there. We've got a nice little river of nutrient water. Here's where the leak was, but I think it's fine now. So either way, we got a nice little river of nutrient water running down each of these NFT areas here. It looks like they're all running just fine. I'm thinking as soon as I get roots in here that they'll kind of splash the water out to different directions and widen it out. So I'm not concerned at all about how the water's kind of squirting up and down, down the rail of different areas. But either way, that's basically it. It's running. Now it's time to finally grow some stuff in it. So yeah, that looks like a good flow rate. I have no idea what the flow rate is supposed to be. There's guys who do like fill up their bottle and figure out how much it is, but this is definitely enough flow rate going down the pipes here, and it should be able to grow really well. Like I said, this is nutrient water, so you can see it's brown, and I'm going to need to put a cover on this and some aluminum foil on the ends here. But that is basically a wrap. There's a little bit of pulling down here at the end by the bulkhead, but not much, not enough to be concerned about. There's definitely so much, there's no chance of the roots drowning over here. But either way, that's it. That is a nutrient film technique build. Everything seems to be working really well. Especially, it seems like the nursery one, it's a wider, this is a 5-inch rail, so it's got a lot more room for the water to wiggle around in here. But yeah, if I have a problem with that, I could come back in and put some, put a little ridges to hold the water a little bit more flat. But I don't think I'm gonna have a problem with that because this is basically designed for microgreens and just baby things. So they should be blocking and moving the flow around and spreading it out themselves. This one, the smaller ones, it seems like the flow is going right down the middle, so those should be fine. Either way, I'm pretty happy with how everything turned out here. Here's the, I'm going to put the rails back on there now. But yeah, everything turned out really nice, I think. I think this thing's going to grow some lettuce and strawberries and whatever. Actually, you can also put clones and stuff in here if I really want to do that with my bigger plants, but I'm not sure I'll do that because I have an entire system designed to grow clones and hold clones. But either way, that's pretty much a wrap for this video. If you guys watch this far, I appreciate you watching. If you haven't yet, please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll be back probably fairly soon with some more random videos like this of things that I do when I'm bored. But either way, like I said, appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you guys on the next video. Peace.